Hey everyone, Jacqueline with Honestly Beef here. We're going to talk about some different recipes. We've got beef stew tips thawed of some of the Honestly Beef KaBob or stew meat. And I'm going to talk about 3 ways that you can cook those. And so if you're watching live, I'd love for you to, in the comments, make sure, give me some other ideas. I thought of 3 ways to cook it. So I've got everything laid out here. We're going to do the same meat. We're going to do the KaBob or the beef stew meat. And so I've got all the things, peppers, onions, to do KaBobs, little KaBob sticks here. And so then the next thing we're going to do is back here in the back, I've got the crock pot set up to be able to make, I always call it cooking the beef stew like a roast, but just cooking it and it's already cut up for you if you have smaller children. So that's going to be the second way we're going to cook it. And then the third way is going to be a surprise. So I'm going to start cutting up these things here. I don't know how boring this is for y'all, but some people don't know how to do certain things and little tricks of the trade. So you never know, we can learn from things. I've got a few people starting. This is the very first time I've ever went live. I had asked a question on my Honestly Beef page if people would be interested in learning about some different recipes. And, you know, you might know how to cook certain things, but, you know, just coming up with different new ideas will kind of, we all can kind of share the way that we do things. And I've been trying to do some of these videos for my YouTube channel for anyone that's on my Facebook or knows me from a farmer's market, anything like that. I have recently started a YouTube channel, and sometimes people just don't know what it's like farm life and getting cow poop on your shoes, all those kind of things. So I just thought I would try to share some videos of different things I've done. Now, normally, I would not make this big of a mess. I would do it over the sink. Y'all know me. I got my little OCD ways. But I'm trying to hurry so you won't be bored to death. Okay. All right. So let me grab the meat here. And I tried to get everything else so it would be too... Not cut the meat open, but I'm trying some of this. Okay. So I have a 2-pound pack of my beef stew, and that's what it looks like. 2 pounds. So we're going to take and make the KaBobs with it. And it's grilling season. It's that time of year right now, so be perfect. I also have a special on my website. The stew meat is really good. It's already kind of cut up for you. So you're ready to just kind of get it on there. I didn't cut up the onions, but we're doing kind of a quick version. You can put a bunch of different things on here. Caroline in the background is giving me a thumbs up, so I must be doing okay. So you would just take the time to get all these plated up, kinda, and then they'd be ready to go for the grill. You can also season this with salt and pepper beforehand if you wanted to, or just do it afterwards. It doesn't really matter. So that's going to grill up really nice and pretty. Put another one on there. Just load it up however how you want. So that's way number 1 to do KaBobs. All right. Hey, I see some people on there watching. I hope I'm not boring y'all out too bad. Okay, so way number 2 to cook beef stew tips. I've thought of 3 ways, so we're gonna, if y'all have any other ideas, I know everyone does, has their own way of cooking. And way number 2 is to do, what I like to do is just put it in a crock pot, which I've recently purchased me a Instapot, and I used it one time and the lid broke, so I was pretty devastated, but I really did like it. I used it to make bone broth, so I loved it. So I was so aggravated. I tried to buy a replacement piece that broke, and it, I don't know, I could never get oh my, that just couldn't do it. It's too aggravating. So I went and bought me another one. I just had to because I really enjoyed it. But I've got my old crock pot set up here. So you would cut it, the onion and the garlic. Come over here and you put them in the crock pot. Cook it like a roast. So I do onion, and I do a half a stick of butter typically. It's going to have plenty of its own fat, but I like to add a little butter. And let me get back here. The rest of these onions and peppers. So a little garlic trick that I learned. You can take a clove, hit it like that with a big knife. It kind of busts the stuff open. All right. So when it busts it open, then you can just peel all that later, and it gives you a perfect little clove. So that's a little trick. All right, are y'all hanging in there with me, or am I too boring? Y'all are gonna have to tell me if y'all like to just talk about it, or if you actually want me to do the recipes. I was gonna try to start doing this a little more regular. Okay, so we've got some garlic. I'm going to throw it in the crock pot. And when I'm doing a roast, I always add these pepperoncinis. I like a little hot. Salt and pepper with the good old trusty Tupperware salt pepper shakers. And little Worcestershire sauce. Have any of y'all ever looked at how Worcestershire sauce was made? You should read about it. It's pretty interesting. I do a little Tony's, and I found this. It's a garlic and onion pink Himalayan salt, and I've really been enjoying that. So I'll throw some of that in there. And then the stew meat. So let me move this over. I've got this heating up, but this won't be ready until tomorrow. So we'll throw about half of this in here. So if you can see, all the little pieces of meat is already cut up. So basically where the stew meat comes from is when they're doing the processing of the cattle. They take, and it's not a perfect roast, it's not a good steak, and they'll take it and just throw it, you know, to the side, and then at the end they'll take all those pieces and cut them in little not perfect little squares, but for the most part they're nice and trimmed little pieces of meat. They'll come from all over the cow. They'll have a little fat in there for you, so they're really great, especially if you have small kids. The steak is already cut up. All right, so you throw all that in there. Take your onions and peppers, throw all that in there. I'm going to put all the pepperoncinis in there and let it cook, and make maybe some rice. So you can put it over a bed of rice. You can make fajitas with it the next day. Anything you want it to do. And then the third way that we're going to talk about is something that I kind of got into last year, and it's meal prepping. And that's where when your kitchen is already dirty and messy and you've got everything out, you might as well meal prep for another day. And so you take recipes and you actually put them in freezer bags with the seasonings and everything already in there. You label it, you freeze it. So when there's a day when you don't have time to cook or whatever, you can grab something out of the freezer and it's already ready to go kind of in the crock pot. And so the rest of all this stuff I'm going to put in this bag. I already have it labeled, and then I'll have it for, you know, to pull out of the freezer and be able to just throw it in the crock pot one day, maybe with the other stuff like the butter and the salt and pepper. You can put a lot of that already in there, but it just depends on how far you want to go with the meal prepping. Meal prepping, you can also already cook it and put it in the bag, but I like to leave it not cooked, so you really don't even, once you put it in the crock pot, you have no idea that you haven't cooked it right then and done all that, but you literally just opened up the bag, thrown it in the crock pot, and let it cook for how many hours. So anyway, that is my third way to do beef. I'm reading all the live chats that are coming in, and so Brittany, she works for me, so she comes into work tomorrow. So she is excited that I'm cooking something because she said I'll be ready for lunch tomorrow, and she's actually pregnant. So we know what that does. It makes, you know, you want to eat a lot, and we'll allow it tomorrow. So yes, Brittany, I'll have some lunch tomorrow, which I never have lunch for her. So that'll be a good, but anyway, this is it for tonight. I just wanted to, I guess I need to call this what y'all want to cook on Wednesday, because it's Wednesday and I'm showing y'all late at night. I'm kind of a night owl. I'm sorry. I just don't do early stuff. So anyway, maybe y'all are laying in bed watching on Facebook and don't have anything better to do at this time of night. So anyway, thanks everyone for watching. If anybody has any ideas of things that they would like me to talk about, recipes, or do on here, if y'all will email me, Facebook me, tell me in person, whatever. I'm working on a list so I can start doing this on a more regular basis. Bye. Tell them bye, Caroline. Bye. Yeah, I'll take this one off.
Okay, it's done. And that's how we video.